9:35 in the morning on Tuesday, the 11th. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Joliet,
Here.
Jackson,
Here.
Lubes,
Here.
Nelson,
Here.
Kaufman,
Present.
Spiz,
Here.
Gershenson,
Here.
here's ex officio, Johnson.
Present.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Let's all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Lubes, would you kindly lead us today?
Of course. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Moving on to the approval of the minutes from March 14th. Any corrections to the minutes? Any comment? No? All right, hearing none. I would entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Spiz, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. Please prompt the vote. Do.
And Jackson?
I'm not, it's not enabling me.
Is it
Let me
working
see.
for
Let me
you?
join, let me see.
It says you approve the
Just
minutes.
say yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
aye. Yes.
Okay. Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Oh, thank you, everyone. I'd now entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Motion by Commissioner Juliet, seconded by Commissioner Jackson. Please prompt that vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Loving the unanimity. We're going to move into our first period of public comment. Anyone here from the public wishing to address us on any issue on the agenda? No? All right. Closing that. All right, communications. Would entertain a motion to receive and file the second quarter report on appointments. Motion by Commissioner Juliet, seconded by Commissioner Spiz. Please prompt that vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Awesome. Moving on to our regular agenda, folks, it's a packed agenda today, and we might be jumping around a bit, just an FYI. So, just curious, is Douglas Jones here right now? No.
I am going to text him.
Okay.
I was really surprised. Did you confirm?
Yes.
It's okay. He's 15
Not till
minutes late.
9:50.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not late.
We
Was
had
just
a-
hoping to.
We had a
get it done.
cancellation at 9:40, so.
Well, that's all right. Just out of curiosity, is Hulbert Maxey here? No. Okay, we'll get to them later then. Is Sean Carlson? No. All right. So moving on to item C. Richard Lynch, are you? There you are. All right. Someone's here. So item C. Is the motion before or after?
For this one, you can be after. 'cause that's the
Okay.
point.
Welcome.
Welcome, Chair. Let's see. Hopefully this is on. I'm here to move for the reappointment of Commissioner Kimberly Reeves to the Jury Commission/Board. She's in the process of completing a 6-year term already. I have reached out to Oakland County Democratic Chair Nancy Quarles. She supports the reappointment of Ms. Reeves. Ms. Reeves has served admirably during her time as a jury commissioner. She has done the work that's appropriate. She is a licensed attorney, so she brings a lot of value to our body. And the Circuit Court has considered us at its full bench meeting last Tuesday. It voted unanimously in support of the recommendation for the reappointment. So I'd ask this honorable body to reappoint Ms. Reeves as a jury commissioner for the board.
All right. Thank you very much, Commissioner Lubes.
I will make a motion to appoint Kimberly Reeves to the board.
To recommend to the, okay, yes. Is there a second? To Commissioner Hoffman. Please prompt that vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to item D, which is amendment number 5 with Oakland County 4-H Fair Association for improvements to the livestock barn at Springfield Oaks County Park. Melissa, thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, a motion to open. Sorry. Oh, interesting. I'll learn that nuance.
Bob,
Okay.
isn't that, Bob
Motion.
Hoffman, isn't that Springfield?
Commissioner Lubes, and it's supported by Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you. Good morning. So this is a project that the 4-H Fair would like to do out at Springfield Oaks at the fairgrounds. It's the installation of 2 industrial fans in our livestock barn, keep the barn cooler and more comfortable for people and animals that are out there. Because it's considered an amendment to the agreement and it's also considered a donation of over $15,000, it comes to the Board of Commissioners for approval. So they are paying for the fans and the installation of the fans, but they will then become county property as part of Springfield Oaks when the project is complete.
Very cool. Any questions, comments, concerns? Mr. Hoffman.
I have a question. We're renting a barn out so people can store boats, and who are we renting that to?
The fair does that. The fair has an operation out there where during the winter when the barns aren't used, they rent them for anyone in the public who has a boat or an RV that is looking for a place to store it. They're stored out there in the winter.
Okay, why should the government be competing with people who are in the storage business? I'm not. in
That's a
favor
good
of it.
question. We are technically not competing because it's not our, 4-H does that. It's as a nonprofit. It's not, we don't get any of the revenue for that. It's all,
Somebody gets revenue.
the 4-H Fair Association does as part of their fundraising.
Well, I gotta tell you, I'm not in favor of that.
We can talk more about that. They've been doing it for quite a
Well,
while.
You want us to vote on this right now to allow that, right?
No, this is to allow them to install some industrial fans in the roof of the barn.
Oh, okay.
That's all it
I was
is.
reading through the background and everything, okay. All right, I'm for the fans.
We are too.
Any other questions? Commissioner Gershenson? No, all right. All right, would you prompt the vote, please? To the big fans, those are fun. I think they come-
Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0
Oh,
nays.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That was D. Let's move on to item E, since you're up here anyway. Do I have a motion to open this one up? Commissioner Juliet, seconded by Commissioner Christensen. Hello.
Hi again. So this is we take a look at our rules and regulations for the park system every year. A lot of times it's just cleanup, which is most of what it is this year. You'll see lots of word swap outs and just general cleanup to make it flow a little bit better. 2 things that I did want to point out though that we changed. On page 73, you'll see we strengthened some of the language around personal conduct. Essentially giving us the authority to limit people coming and staying at the campground. We've had a few issues with, unfortunately, with our staff being harassed at the campgrounds, and so this gives us a little more strength to boot people and not let them continue to camp if they are not treating our staff appropriately. So we added that. We also, on page 83, cleaned up some of the language around the sale of alcoholic beverages within the parks, just to make sure we're lined up with the MLCC guidelines.
Questions? Comments? Yes.
I do have one question. Throughout the document, there's multiple places where crossed out just commission and put commission director.
Yes.
Is that just because that's how it's done today, or is it something to streamline the process?
It's a little bit of both. A lot of things the Parks Commission has already delegated to Chris Ward to do, and this just grants that authority in a couple of other areas as well. So that we're not bringing every little rental agreement and things like that back to the Parks Commission for approval.
Any other questions? Seeing none, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item F. don't think Commissioner Cavell is on. Commissioner Cavell? I would entertain a motion to recommend to the board item F. Commissioner Loops, seconded by Commissioner Gershenson. Well, there's no presentations. Any questions for ourselves? Yeah, Commissioner.
I have a question. I mean, I understand the premise behind this, and it makes sense. But there's some concerns in that if these are medical facilities, and I'm not sure of the consumption of how the medical marijuana will be consumed, but smoking, obviously, if people are on oxygen tanks, they can't have.
Well, there's pills.
Right, exactly, but that's not specified in here. So that was my only question, is if the consumption could be specified.
Which whereas is that in?
It's not.
Oh.
That I could see
Nothing.
it. Maybe I missed it.
It's like page 95, 1649.2 sub A1. I was not looking that hard. I just happened to see the
Oh,
word,
okay.
so-
I was like, wow, I must have missed. So consumption is on there? I'm on 95.
Prohibition of smoking or vaping as
Okay.
methods.
Okay. All right, then I'm good with it.
Go back
Commissioner.
out.
No, I know, that I thought that too.
I can't
And then
have things
here.
blowing up.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? All right, please pass the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Oh, awesome. Thank you all, everyone. All right, now we're going to begin our hopscotch game. If Doug is here, I didn't see anyone else. No one else walked in, right? While I was looking down. Oh,
good.
awesome, okay. So back to item A. Yes, please, yeah, thank you. Hello, how are ya? The other head, yes.
Right here?
Absolutely.
Nice to
Yep.
meet you.
No, all the way down. All the way down.
Whoa.
Yes, guest of honor. All right, so this is item A and a motion afterward, right? Okay. So we're welcoming Mr. Douglas Jones. At this time, we're going to begin interviews for the Oakland Community Health Network appointment. Mr. Jones, please introduce yourself and welcome to the board.
Thank you very much, and thank you for this opportunity to address each one of you as I look forward to working with Oakland County Health Network, which I've done over the last few years. But I pastor a church, Welcome Missionary Baptist Church, in the city of Pontiac, Michigan. I happen to live in the city of in West Bloomfield. Also, in my tenure at Welcome Missionary Baptist Church, we have been able to create a coalition that's called the Greater Pontiac Community Coalition / Committee of 50. That Greater Pontiac Community Coalition stands on 4 pillars: youth, education, economic development, and communication. Working in that area to facilitate and use action and advocacy to bring about a needed social change. The Committee of 50 part works within the business and economic realm of that pillar of economic development to advise persons of financial support, health support, what have you, working to stabilize not only residential, not only other coalitions and groups, but stabilize their ability to gain the financial or funding support that they need. Part of our charter, when we speak of youth and education, is also lends itself to the health emergencies that we have. There's no secret that there's a homeless situation that exists in the city of Pontiac and in Oakland County, very frankly. And so we work with agencies and organizations to try to alleviate, the word is alleviate, some of the homeless situations. Boiling over from the homeless situations also lends itself to the mental health crises which we have not only in Oakland County but throughout the United States, mental and emotional. And so working with youth organizations, working with education organizations, i.e. the Pontiac School Board, the Oakland Intermediate School District, Oakland University, Oakland Community College, to try to create a system and method to address some of the mental health, emotional issues that are facing our young people and our parents of young people. To that end, we have, and we're working on, initiating a program to utilize third, fourth, fifth, sixth year sociology, psychology, and psychiatry students to work with families, to assist the police as co-responders and what have you. So that is part of what the coalition does. That's part of what the Committee of 50 does, and very frankly, as a pastor, that's what I do throughout the city, throughout the county, throughout the state. My background, I came from a business background. I was a regional director, regional manager with the Xerox Corporation for many years. I started my career in Cincinnati, Ohio, and was transferred to Michigan, transferred to Chicago, transferred to Minneapolis, throughout this and throughout the Midwest, and ended up back here and began my career at the Welcome Missionary Baptist Church. So I've had the pleasure of meeting a number of different people, interacting with people in relation to not only their goals and aspirations, but attacking the issues, the human issues that impact all of us. That's me.
Awesome, thank you so much. I just, very quick question. I apologize if I honorific to you. Is Reverend rather than Mr.?
You know, I answer to both of them.
Okay.
But most people, if you ask somebody and you say Reverend, they'll say who, and if you say Pastor Jones, the whole world will say, I know who he is.
Okay.
So I answer to both of them.
Duly noted.
I guess there's a lot of differences. I guess when you're over a flock, they'll call you pastor, and if you're assigned at a church as a minister of help and support, they'll say reverend. So both works appropriately.
Duly noted. Thank you, Commissioner Nelson. Oh, I thought you were saying any other. Yes, Commissioner Christensen.
Well, welcome, Pastor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Commissioner.
I've
Good to
had
see
the
you.
pleasure of working with Pastor Jones on many, many projects, and he is well integrated into the community. And as a matter of fact, this Committee of 50 has representation from OCHN.
Yes, it does.
And he has a strong working relationship with OCHN. But one thing that you didn't mention is because of all the different agencies that are involved, this committee is also looking at maybe having one person, hiring one person to coordinate all the services so that when a person is in need of service, they don't have to make 12 calls, they make one call. So that's just a project
That is true.
that's been going on.
It's called a call to solidarity when we started meeting with different groups, and there's a lot of duplication. And we found out, and it was really a consensus of all of the groups, we need to call a solidarity, where a person, if they're having a crisis, if there's a meltdown, whatever the situation is, that instead of looking at, and we have it, there's a list of 39 pages of who to call. Now, if you're going through a mental breakdown, I don't think you're going to page through 39 pages to see. So one of the things that we came up with was to say, why not all of us list the services that we provide, what we're doing, where we're located, how we can help, and then create a one-call line, which means that you call that one number, that person will filter you right away to the place that you need to go. There will be a person that will respond, so you won't get a call us back later, and you will be taken care of right away. And so we've agreed that that's needed, and we have, as a matter of fact, we're working on that as we speak today to make that come into fruition. The other piece of that is that we were able to channel the persons to the right place for the help that they need, And I tell you, I am excited about the groups coming together, on this. I'm excited about the opportunity that they have. And let me take homelessness for a moment. We discovered that a lot of the so-called known homeless places, Lighthouse, okay, others that may be, that persons will call and say this person is homeless. They may be filled. But we've found out there's a group of other places that offer and afford help or coverage to persons that are homeless. Guess what? They never get the call. So what we're doing is saying we're going to have them on that list. And so if Hope Shelters is full, we know who else to call. And we'll be able to do that same day, same hour, same time to resolve that issue. The idea of incorporating some of the social workers in it is also because from that coverage at the homeless shelter does not solve all of the problem. There's some other issues. And we believe that the social work students, that gives them a couple of things, gives them on-the-site experience. We used to call it on-the-job. Please excuse that. On-site experience. They're able then to help persons and channel them also to proper resources. So we're looking forward to it. As a matter of fact, our group is working on that, and it is our hope to have that in place within the next couple of months. So.
Commissioner Jackson.
Thank you. Pastor Jones, Mr. Jones, Reverend Jones.
Commissioner.
I'm just so happy to see you at the head of the table today to hear about this work. We have two clinical social workers
Oh, my goodness.
at our table.
Thank
And I
you.
know that they know about the continuum of care and how education, economic development, homelessness feeds into the mental health crises or lack thereof, these resources. I have a personal story of my best friend's son who suffered a mental crisis, and she was driving him to Lighthouse. He jumped out the car barefoot. He ended up jumping off of the water tower to his death. So I know what fed into him getting to that point, and there were these types of issues. So I'm glad to hear that you're looking at it in a wraparound kind of way.
True.
And I just appreciate you applying and coming forward to us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work.
I really believe that we have to have the clinicals, and it is my thought that a family and a mental health issue, and we'll take the one where the lady froze with her two kids, okay? We could, or the lady that the police tried to calm down, okay? All of that. A family, it does not matter ethnicity, it does not matter that. But they're not going to tell a policeman, I got a relative that's just about to go off, what have you. But you know who they'll tell? A social worker. They'll tell that person. They'll say, listen, I need some help. This is what's about to happen. What can you do? So the idea of utilizing these social work students and eventually masters of social work, you have to have a master with helping the undergrad, that's going to give us more feet on the street. It's going to give us more contact and ability to stop the crises, solve the issue. That's important. So that's why we're moving forward with that. Thank you. That is so important to us.
Commissioner Lewis.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
what you're describing is for the city of Pontiac right now. And on the OCHN board, you will have all the cities, villages, and townships to work with. And I think you'd be able to explore whatever assets OCHN has to assist with that one project while helping everybody or overseeing what services we have
That's our goal. The reason we call it solidarity because we know there are other cities going through the same thing, other communities, other townships going through the same thing. And so all of a sudden coming together, now we have a bed, or I'll use the word plethora of resources available for everyone. So that's how we can do this. And the unity, I was in a meeting yesterday with a Catholic response team of what they've been doing. And that's important. And they said, well, we're covering, Pontiac, and we do some things in Royal Oak or what have you. Well, that's great. All of a sudden, all of us coming together. Can you imagine the impact that we would have in different communities? And we understand if we look at the different cultures and ethnicities that's going on. And Oakland County is just a very diverse county, And there are things that's going on within the Chaldean community, within the Arab community, all of these things that's going on. And they too are saying, where do we get this help? Where do we get this help? Yes, ma'am.
We in Oakland County have an Access to Care work group that's actually led by an Oakland County employee, and it's monthly. So this was started years ago, and each organization is invited or has been invited to that group, and we do pool resources there. So I think our staff would probably be able to get you, I can get you that meeting information.
Thank you. We'd love to have that.
attend. But yes, so that mechanism might already be there, but then getting it out to the community would be helpful.
That's true, and that's one of the issues we found out. There is the Alliance on Housing, and it's surprising when we looked at the list, there are a couple of groups that should have been a part of that in the housing piece. We'll get them in. We'll get them in. But they're doing a great work. But everybody doesn't know they're there and what they're doing. So they're working with us as well, so that we can tackle the housing and homeless situation. Also, then look at the mental health situation that's going on. So I think it's going to be a great effort.
On the note of meetings, OCHN meetings are, the regular meetings, sorry, this is going to be a little informational. The regular meetings are the third Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. The Committee of the Whole meets on the second Monday of the month at 4:30 p.m. And study sessions vary, but are typically on the fourth Thursday at 5 p.m. All of them are at the Troy headquarters. Are you able to attend most of those meetings or some of them?
I think that I would be able to attend most of them. My day starts early, as you probably know. And when we're in our committee meetings and all of that, we're up early. Most of those start about 8:30 in the morning. So and as we go through our schedule, I'm sure I can meet with those. The only barrier would be if there was a clergy crisis that I had to attend, or family crisis. But I think we can adjust to that.
Awesome. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much, Reverend.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Looking for Holbert Maxey.
I was a little tested, put a preacher in front of him.
You did well.
That's right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
He's like 10 minutes away. Do you need us to do this?
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
What's that? Okay, I mean, if you need us to do this, because Sean's still 10 minutes away, we can.
Does anyone have a hard out today? What about you, Commissioner?
Any reason they can't just wing it without Sean?
Well, what is it?
Can you wing it without Sean?
If we've got to wing it without Sean, we'll wing it without Sean. I don't want to hold you up, Commissioner.
Okay, yeah. I would kindly ask you to wing it without Sean.
Yeah.
Let's
I
get
think
on
we'll
the
be
way
fine.
to
I think you guys will be fine.
So this is item B. This is the Executive's Office, County Executive appointment of Rod Davenport as Chief Information Officer. This is not Sean Carlson presenting. I would entertain a motion to, thank you very much, to the appointment. Seconded by Commissioner Lutz.
All right, good morning, Commissioners. I'm, as I think I just mentioned, winging it a little bit this morning, subbing for Sean Carlson, who got stuck in a meeting with the county executive, and we thought he was going to be here about 10 minutes ago.
Now we know where we stand.
I mean, I'm just being honest.
And no, budget time is coming up.
Oh, boy, okay.
The winging is going less well.
Yeah, okay. On second, maybe this is a really bad idea. We're here to present Rod Davenport, who Executive Coulter has nominated to be the Chief Information Officer for Oakland County. Mr. Davenport has extensive experience in his field. He's currently the CIO for the Lansing Board of Water and Light, served as the Chief Technology Officer for the state of Michigan, as well as for DTE Energy, I think. So he would bring just kind of a wide array and deep array of experience to the county from his previous positions. We also have Ken Tice here, our interim CIO, who could talk a little bit to you, if this is helpful, about the process, the interview process and things like that, that I'm not fully read in on myself personally. So Ken, do you want to talk a little bit about how we got to Rod?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. To let you know, we recruited for the position. We had approximately 168 individuals that put in for it, a very large, diverse group of individuals. We were very blessed with the level of candidates. From the 168, we took it down to 12. We actually conducted phone interviews where they responded to 5 of our questions and did videos of those. Then we took it down to 3 individuals with face-to-face interviews. It was Sean Carlson, April Lynch, our Deputy Director of Administrative Services, and myself as a technical advisor. Clearly, Rod, through his extensive background and experience, came through as our clear best candidate for the position. I'm personally excited because I have worked with Rod personally in the past. I used to be the CIO for the state of Michigan myself. Even though Rod didn't work for me, I know Rod very well and work closely, and I know he's going to be a great candidate. So while we've done a lot of transformational efforts here in the county with information technology, Rod is definitely the right candidate to take those efforts and help us move them forward.
Awesome. Any questions, Commissioner Gershenson?
Well, welcome. So are you living in Oakland County now?
I am, yes. I'm in Farmington Hills, so I think we moved, when I was 5 years old, moved into Oakland County in Southfield. So let's just say a lifelong resident of Oakland County, if we round up.
Sounds good. Also, how are you going to integrate yourself with the existing IT team?
So I've had 6 or 7 job transitions, I guess, over my career. My style is I don't come in like a freight train. I like to kind of assess what's happening, get to know the folks, and then you mentioned kind of social work. So I think this is a close analog to that. I like to meet people where they are, and then we can work together to elevate, right? So thankfully with Ken, I think I've got a pretty good briefing. I've got an understanding, I think, of some of the big picture stuff. I haven't met any of the staff yet, so I would say the first probably 60, 90 days will be meeting with the team, seeing where the strengths and weaknesses are, finding out where people want to go in their careers and see if we can, help people get there. Sometimes people just need to change a role. Sometimes people need a little bit more direction. Sometimes they struggle with, technology is very fast-paced. Things are changing a lot, so sometimes it's a training issue. But I've had some pretty good track record of, over time elevating the performance of the team and working with the business closely to try to make sure the technology is doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm a believer that technology is kind of a force multiplier for people. There's kind of two different big picture pieces with tech. I mean, one of it is that it takes kind of routine tasks and just automates them and makes them go a lot faster. And then there's things like the iPhone, right? So you have these technological innovations that let people do different things. Or if you think about, SpaceX, going to Mars, that's a lot of technology. So kind of harnessing that and putting it in a proper context for people to get their jobs done faster, I think is really kind of what IT does.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Commissioner Jackson?
Thank you. So looking at your resume, which is very, very, very impressive, DTE, you were there quite a bit of time, but then also in governmental entities, which helps plays a role in this assignment. But looking at your Lansing Board of Water and Light, you stabilized the department after a major ransomware attack in 2016. And we know that's become more and more prevalent with governmental systems and just the fact that you've had experience and in rebuilding. How do you see that playing into Oakland County and working with our Homeland Security and just where we are today? Because we have constituents that come in and they're like, you know, we're opening ourselves up by allowing certain information to be accessible to the public and things like that. So where's your focus as far as Oakland Challenge and where we are?
Yeah, so cybersecurity is always kind of number one on my list. I know that there's been a lot of ransomware attacks against counties lately. Obviously, at a utility, we were a major target, especially with the the conflict in the Ukraine and the strained relationships with China. So we did see a spike, in I guess we could call them attacks. I mean, the firewall does a lot of repelling, but we have seen an uptick in phishing as well. Homeland Security, so the first year that I was at the BWL, I brought in the Homeland Security cyber team to kind of do a penetration test, and they found a lot of vulnerabilities. Just last week, we had a company called Cyber Defense that came in that did another week-long internal penetration test, and it was much improved. So the challenge with cyber is it's a kind of a cat and mouse game, so as the attackers get better, the defenses get better, and then the attackers get better again. So it's work that's never done, but it is very important. The other piece about the exposure of information, I think government is kind of uniquely challenged in that you want to have transparency and openness in government, but at the same time, the bad guys are looking at that to do social engineering attacks. I mean, if they can find out somebody's background or their social network, they can target either through SMS text messaging, through phone calls, or through emails to make it look like it's someone and then they can try to put some malware into the system. Thankfully, technology's evolved quite a bit over the past few years, and I'm not sure yet what the tool sets are at Oakland County, but there are things that we could put in place, kind of a defense in depth architecture to say, okay, well, if they manage to get through the front door, we can stop them right in the hallway. So it's always a risk that something could happen. It's when they always talk about what makes you not sleep at night, it's cyber mostly, because that's it used to be a career ender, maybe not so much anymore, but it still is devastating to the IT department and to the businesses in general. So that's something that I like to start. It'll probably be my first area of focus, is just taking a look at the technology stack for the cybersecurity and when the last time we had our defenses tested and try to put a plan together to make sure that we're staying current with that. But yeah. It's a concern, though, for
Glad
sure.
you have experience with that.
Any other questions?
Commissioner Simmons. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Jackson kind of stole my question, but and I think many here, she does that. Many here know that I'm big into the technology world, and I push for it in many different aspects, so I'm glad to see you on board. I'd like to know a little bit more about you. Yeah, I read your resume, but tell us a little bit more about yourself.
So longtime IT guy. And this goes back, a little bit of a ways. But when I was in 6th grade, they brought an Apple II in, and it was the first computer I'd ever seen. And I figured out how to make my name scroll on the screen, in this endless loop. And I thought it was kind of cool. So high school, did AP Computer Science. I got my varsity letter from the computer team. So nerd from all the way back, right? And I say that among friends. So I don't have a lot of exciting stories. A lot of people in IT, they had careers as artists and musicians, and they went into IT. I've just been IT pretty much the whole time. So a blend of private sector, public sector. I always my belief is that corporate IT is the same. Everybody's got email, everybody's got the word and the printing and the cybersecurity. Each of the different industry verticals, I think, has some core software that's different, but even that's the same. I started off tech support, and then I went into systems administration. Most of my time was kind of coming up through the ranks doing application development. So I was a programmer, did some database work. There was a strange twist of fate that I think when I was at Ford, my boss, he was under the mistaken impression that I was an IT guy that could talk to people. So he kind of deflected my career to be more of like a business analyst, and then I moved into some management roles. And so I like to think of myself as, I still keep a hand in the technology, even though haven't been on the keyboard for a while. But I guess a comparison might be, like a internal medicine primary care physician. So I understand, I think, a lot in IT, but IT is very complicated, and each different specialty goes really deep. So I know when to call in a specialist, but then I can also sort of understand what they're saying and kind of put it into context and see if they're telling me the truth or not. So, yeah, I've always had kind of a technical, scientific bent. Been interested in that for a while. Yeah, I don't know. Any other more specific stuff about me?
No, that was good.
Okay.
I'd just like to hear more about the candidates when they come in.
Yeah.
I can read your resume, I can read all the information, that's all good, but
Right, right.
hearing it from you in a more of a personal type of.
Yeah, for
package
sure,
is always
for
better.
sure, yeah.
We're trying to prove you're a person, not a robot.
Right, right, right. Well, that's true. I mean, with the advances of AI, to just be ChatGPT sitting at the table, for sure.
I'm at a church prerogative. So my day job is up in Lansing. I'm heading there right after this. What on earth attracted you away from #LoveLansing to the beautiful city of Pontiac/Waterford?
So I've been in Lansing for quite a while. It's the drive, especially with the construction on 96, has started to take a toll. It's odd because I've always they've been working there day to day, but then through COVID, when we went remote, and now that we're starting to get back in the office, the drive seems to have magnified itself many times. And I guess the other part of this, and this came up during the interview process. So most of my career I've been working in large organizations. So I think my first job was at Crane Communication, and I was at Ford. I was at an HMO for a little while. Spent a lot of time at DTE, different roles. Then when I got to the state, it was huge. And that has its own set of pluses and minuses. And then when I went to the Board of Water and Light, it's fairly small. So it's like 700 people in total, different sets of challenges. The state is very large. It's unwieldy. BWL is, I guess, wieldy is a word. So it's it's a little more agile. You can get some things done, but there's not a ton of resources there. And especially dealing with the vendors, it's tough sometimes to get their attention unless you've got a little more budget, a little more staff. So I kind of thought that this might be the Goldilocks sort of an opportunity. That it's it's not as large as the state. Hopefully we'd still get some stuff done, but it's not so small that I can't affect changes easily. So that's my hope.
All right.
Yeah. Still in my heart. I'm still #LoveLansing, but
You have to be.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss those New Daily Bagels and
Right.
anyway.
We might have recruited them as well.
Well, that's up to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's seeing none. Motion is on the table. Please pop the vote.
Okay. Mr. Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Congratulations.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look forward to working with you.
Yes, look forward to working with you all as well. So,
Thank you so much. All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
You didn't need Sean.
Yeah, exactly. He's literally like, he's not pulling in the parking lot.
That makes deliberation awfully easy.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did not receive any communications.
Interesting. Do we have to? I don't know. That feels weird. But I guess it's still so.
So we don't have our time clock?
No one else is here for interviews.
So that's not a
So-
good sign for them.
Right. Commissioner Spiz.
I was gonna ask based on that, since we only have one of 3 show up, is there proper rationale for the other 2? Car accident, something major happened in a family versus not just showing up?
Yeah.
Because I agree with Commissioner Gerson, if they just didn't show up, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
I did get a communication from our 940, was that
James
Mr.
Noel.
Mr. Novell? He just said there's a lot going on in his life right now, and he's maybe later. He just declined, but I did not hear from Mr. Maxey.
And we proactively reached out today.
Yeah, Amy
Oh.
tried to contact him.
Commissioner.
So I would like to make a motion to appoint Pastor Jones.
I'll support.
And it's a recommendable.
I mean, I would have
So
done
recommend
it
support.
under almost any circumstance, because he's amazing. He's a great asset, so.
Discussion.
It is a general discussion. I mean, we're trying to fill a spot in OC. Is it for a provider? If I read-
General
Is it general,
public.
because if you looked at the list for the report, it said
It
mental health
was.
provider, but then his application said general
General
public,
public.
so that's where I was confused.
You wanna
We changed it at the last meeting to an opening for general public to allow for more applicants.
Okay. I must have-
And actually, one of the applicants does have
Oh.
some experience
That's correct.
as a provider, and I was kind of wondering, but I couldn't tell if he was still working or not. And
So Who was the one?
Dr. Giles
Dr. Giles,
is a doctor.
because they had applied under general, so we,
Yes.
they switched the two.
Yes.
So that the doctor would actually be the medical provider.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that being said, there's a motion on the floor. Can we prompt the vote, I guess?
Sure. To recommend to the board to appoint Douglas Jones.
I was just wondering if Commissioner Gershenson talked to the pastor, because he used some key words within during his presentation there that we caught co-responders and a few other things I know we're working on.
yeah.
Sure, you have yeas or
Get some
nays?
coaching.
Hey, is your name? Awesome. Thank you very much.
This is a neat coaching.
I know,
I-
I just, some of the key
But
words.
yeah,
are
I
like,
see it,
okay,
right.
okay.
I
Check,
believe
check.
we've gone through the regular agenda by now. Did I miss anything? No, that was that. Moving on to public comment number 2. Anyone from the public here wishing to address us on any topic? No, there's not any further business before the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee today. No. All right, without objection, declare this meeting adjourned.
All right, thank you.
Yay.
Good job.
Thank you very much. Under an hour, folks.
Good job.
Nice job.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, especially
We didn't
having
test them,
juggled.
usually we have to throw curveballs at them. We have to call recesses and do all the.
Yeah.